I never expected anything memorable to happen in that tiny rented studio. It was cramped, the carpet smelled faintly of yesterday's coffee, and the couch had a spring that always poked my back when I tried to relax. Still, it became something of a haven for me, a space to clear my head after long shifts at the diner and to work on my sketches when the city outside felt too loud. But it was what happened that one Tuesday afternoon that changed how I saw not just the room, but myself. I had only known Darren for 3 months. He came into the diner every other day like clockwork, always ordering black coffee and an egg sandwich with extra mustard. He rarely smiled, and when he did, it looked like it surprised even him. There was a softness in him that he tried to bury under sarcasm and worn-out denim jackets, but I noticed it. I always noticed people who carried weight in silence. Maybe because I carried it too. The first time he really spoke to me, it was to ask about my notebook. I'd left it on the counter by mistake, filled with sketches, little blurbs of poems, and half-finished thoughts. I panicked when I saw it in his hands, but he handed it over gently. "You draw like you're trying not to feel something," he said, not looking at me. I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. That led to our first conversation. Then a second. Then, somehow, to him helping me fix a broken cabinet in my studio. And then to him sitting on my beat-up couch, telling me how he used to play guitar before his brother passed. We never said too much at once. Everything with Darren came in little drops. He was like one of those songs that doesn't hit you until the third or fourth listen, but once it does, it doesn't let go. That afternoon, he showed up unannounced. He had a bag of takeout and a look in his eyes like something was eating at him from the inside. I didn't ask questions. I just unlocked the door and let him in. "Bad day?" I asked, handing him a glass of water. He didn't answer right away. He sat on the couch, resting the food on the table, and leaned back like his body didn't know how to relax anymore. "I saw my mom," he finally said, voice low. She didn't recognize me. The words hit the air and hung there. I sat beside him. Not too close, not too far. Silence filled the room again, that kind of silence that makes you feel like any movement might crack something fragile. I placed my hand on his shoulder gently. He closed his eyes. He talked after that, slowly, almost painfully, about how hard it was to watch someone you love disappear piece by piece. About how helpless he felt watching his mother's memory fade, her eyes no longer lighting up when she saw him. I listened, trying to offer comfort without words. At some point, he leaned into me. I didn't move. I just let him rest there, his weight against mine, his breath warm near my neck. His vulnerability made the moment feel sacred. He wasn't asking for anything. He wasn't trying to take advantage. He was just needing something real. We stayed like that for a while. Then his hand slipped into mine. And I let it. It was instinctual, natural. I turned toward him slowly, not daring to speak. Our eyes met, and I saw something flicker in his fear, need, maybe even hope. He leaned in closer. His lips brushed against mine, not urgent, not demanding, just searching. I responded without thinking. There was a tenderness in the way he kissed me, like he wasn't sure he was allowed to feel something good. The couch creaked beneath us as he shifted, and I felt my heart racing, unsure if it was from nerves or anticipation. Our kiss deepened, but everything stayed gentle, hesitant. He cupped my face like I was something delicate. I pulled him closer like he was something I didn't want to lose. But then, in the quietest second, he pulled back. He blinked fast, and I saw the panic in his face. "I shouldn't," he whispered, half to himself. He moved to stand, and as he did, his hand slipped from mine, his touch gone too soon. The couch felt cold without him. He stood there, staring at the wall, jaw tight. "I'm sorry," he muttered. "Why?" I asked, standing too. "You didn't do anything wrong." He shook his head. I don't want to mess this up. You're different." The room felt still again. I wanted to tell him to sit back down, to let the moment continue. But I didn't push. He needed space, and I could see it. So I just said, "You didn't mess up anything. You're allowed to feel something real, Darren." He looked at me then, really looked at me, like he was trying to memorize my face. Then he stepped closer and touched my cheek with the back of his fingers. I want to, he said softly. I just don't know how. I smiled, barely. Then stay. We'll figure it out. We sat back down on the couch, closer this time. We didn't pick up where we left off. Instead, he rested his head on my shoulder again, and I wrapped my arms around him. We stayed that way, not speaking, letting the quiet say everything that needed to be said. Over the next few weeks, he came by more often. Sometimes with groceries. Sometimes with his guitar. Sometimes with nothing but silence in his eyes. And every time I let him in, we didn't rush anything. Our closeness grew like ivy, slow, patient, always finding new places to root itself. One night, it happened again. We were on the same couch. The city buzzed outside. Rain tapped the windows. I was sketching his profile as he tuned his guitar. He noticed and smiled, then reached for my hand. His kiss that night was more confident. Still soft, but filled with more intention. His touch no longer trembled with fear. When we leaned into each other, it felt like two halves finally learning how to fit. The couch still creaked, the spring still poked my back, but none of that mattered. But again, he slipped away, pulling back, breath shaking. You okay? I asked, searching his face. He looked away, then back at me. Every time I feel like I'm about to let myself fall, I remember how many times I've crashed. I nodded. I understood. I'd crashed before, too. I knew the pain of picking up your own pieces when no one else could. You don't have to fall, I whispered. Just stay. He kissed me again. Slower. Longer. He stayed this time. That couch, once just a piece of old furniture, became the place where our fears met our hopes. Where something honest began. We didn't always get it right. We had moments where silence turned into tension, where doubt crept in, where memories of pain tried to steal the good. But we always found our way back, to the couch, to each other. Months passed. Seasons changed. He met my sister. I met his dad. He played a song he wrote for me, the chords slightly messy, but the words full of truth. And one night, while we were watching reruns of old sitcoms, he turned to me and said, "You were right. I didn't have to fall. I just needed to stay." I reached for his hand, smiled, and replied, and I wanted more. Not just that night. Every night since. Now, whenever I sit on that old couch, I smile. It still creaks. The spring still pokes. But it holds the memory of how love, real love, can grow in even the smallest spaces, in the quietest moments between two people still learning how to be whole.